G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. We got confirmation that next season is going to be Naruto themed. Not just having Naruto in the battle pass, but the fact that there's actually going to be potential mythic items and weapons that are going to be related to Naruto. And I want to talk about what that might look like, what I think that could mean for the new season. We have other leaks as well about potential like desert biomes, pyramids, a bunch of other stuff. And you guys know me, we got less than a week until the new season. I'm starting to get excited. I want to start making some content on what the new season's going to be all about. But the competitive season just ended, but there's still a lot to talk about. In yesterday's video, I started touching on some of the team swaps, but I really didn't focus too much on EU because at the time there wasn't that many going around or not that many confirmed. But now we have some really big team swaps on EU. I talked a bit about Taysom, but I'm talking potentially Hen Janice and Chapix. Aqua's team, is Benji Fishy staying? Is Mongrel now moving to NA? There's a lot to talk about. Let's jump into it. So before we get into talking about the teams, let's talk about this new season. Season 8 is just around the corner. We have Operation Skyfire in less than a week. That is the event that's going to bring in the new season, and we're already starting to get an idea of what's happening. Now, the reason why I'm so excited by these leaks is I talked about it recently. We kind of have a bit of an idea of what Operation Skyfire is going to be. It looks like Sloan is going to be loading up Corny Complex with a whole bunch of explosives. That's going to get absorbed into the mothership. The mothership is going to explode. It's going to crash, and we're thinking that means that that's going to affect at least Corny, that's going to affect Misty where it's supposed to crash, and it should be affecting the IO houses around the map. But that really isn't enough change for me. That doesn't really have me that excited. That's two major POIs. I'm excited by that, and a few little ones around the map, but I'm really hoping for like I said, some chapter 2 season 2 level changes. Like I want at least half the map to change potentially. But we have in some leaks right now that it looks like we might be getting some pyramids and some desert biomes. So Hypex tweeted out, here's what publicly is known about season 8 so far. So this is stuff that has actually been released or found in the public, whether it be from interviews, whether it be from information to shareholders. Just this isn't just leaks from the game files that, you know, could be some obscure reference to a like season 11. Like this is stuff that we publicly know. So Naruto and explosive mythic kunais. So we also had confirmation from Sheena BR, confirmed Naruto will be in the season 8 battle pass. This was already leaked some time ago, but it was recently confirmed by Donald Mustard, who obviously is the chief creative officer at Epic Games, in a conversation with @Q Candy Wing. So we know that Naruto is gonna be the battle pass, not just the leak, but hey, we've had a lot of stuff in the battle pass that hasn't really affected the game, right? Like we had Master Chief from Halo, but that didn't mean we had the Warthog going around. We didn't have a whole bunch of Halo weapons. It still just kind of was in the battle pass. And I love Naruto. I'm a massive weeb. You guys know me. I'm a huge anime fan. I'm actually not wearing my Naruto hoodie this time, but that excites me. But skins are kind of not really doing it for me anymore. Yeah, running around as Naruto will be kind of cool, but I really want some gameplay changes. And hearing there's going to be explosive mythic kunais, so that tells me two things. Firstly, we're going to be getting Mythics back, and that really excites me. We had Mythics this season, but it was Sloan's Pulse Rifle. It was only in pubs, and I get really bored of these mythics. I've said this before, like Sky's AR, you know, Brutus's minigun, like, yeah, they're kind of cool, but just having a gun that does a bit more damage doesn't really excite me. I want a mythic to feel totally different. I want it to do something entirely different. I've also talked about the idea that I think mythics should be more based around utility than offense. Instead of just doing a bunch of damage, they should offer something cool. Like, let's imagine the Chug Cannon. Imagine the Chug Cannon was a mythic, or maybe there's a shield bubble, or maybe there's like a rift to go, or again, maybe it's a kunai that explodes. Again, that's a bit more offensive, but I don't like it just being a higher damage version of a gun you already have. That's not exciting. Like, I used to love playing Chapter 2 Season 3 and dropping the shark because I got the grapple. I was the only player on the map that could Spider-Man around the map and have a bunch of fun. Getting the grapple gun, I think it was Jules' grapple gun from the Authority during the water season, it felt different. It wasn't just a little bit more powerful version of a gun that I could get somewhere else. And I think it's really cool if they bring that back. Like, I'm getting a bit excited, and I'm going to go into the new season with hopefully low expectations, but what I would really like to see would be, imagine like a Hidden Leaf Village, like a full-on Naruto POI, and you go there and you got to fight some ninja, you got to get the mythic kunais. Like, this is what I want to go back to. I want some fun in the game right now. I think it could be so incredibly cool. The collabs we've got recently, the reason why I was complaining about them is they just didn't change the game. You had Rick and Morty just in an IO house, and it didn't feel any different. It didn't really have a big effect on the gameplay, but like Gotham Gotham City, like Stark Industries, like big POIs that really affect the game. That is what I want. And before people jump all over me, I've already admitted this. I'm taking the L on this one. Yes, I did say that I thought Mythics shouldn't really be in competitive. I think competitive should be more of a stale meta. And at the time, I truly believe that because we hadn't really had a stale meta. Now, after having a more competitive meta for a few seasons in a row now, I'd be okay with some Mythics coming back. Maybe just in Arena. If they weren't in competitive, they were just in Arena, which I've talked about, it probably wouldn't really work. They'd have to have some kind of a game mode to queue up scrims on. So Arena and competitive could be different. But if Mythics came back to competitive and we had a bit more of a fun meta, I'd be here for that because, again, I don't play, I'm only watching, and it makes Arena way more fun. I just hope the pros would enjoy it, and up until recently, I thought the pros didn't really want that. I thought they didn't really want a fun, crazy season, but I'm seeing a lot of really big name pros say that they kind of want some of that fun back in the game. Not all of them. I think this current competitive meta was really good. And if this meta stays, if we get a really just competitive meta through and through, I'd be happy with that as long as the map changes significantly. But hey, if we wake up and there's some crazy mythics in the game, I personally am going to have a lot of fun. Also, we heard that there's going to be possible pyramid and cactus consumables. And then obviously underneath this, Hypex responded with pyramid POI, not consumables. So a pyramid POI with cactus consumables, that's making a lot of people think desert biome, and biomes is what gets a lot excited. When you look at the old map, chapter 1 map, it looks so nice because it literally looks so nice. Like there's sand, there's water, there's jungle, there's like a swamp biome. It just felt different. The current map is just grass and a bit of purple grass with some green trees, then some red trees. Like, it doesn't feel that significantly different. So I could see that being really, really cool if we get a big biome, but that also makes me excited because that has nothing to do with a spaceship. So that means we might be getting all the spaceship changes from, like, it crashing into Misty, the IO houses might change, but then we also might have something that brings about a desert biome. That's why I'm excited. It looks like we're going to get a whole bunch of map changes, hopefully. Also, the sideways monsters for Halloween, because Halloween's around the corner. I don't know how I feel about the Halloween events. It always means the map gets really misty, gets really dark. I can't see anything, and I'm getting chased by a horde of zombies, but it adds a bit of fun for a little while. Sometimes it's good. Maybe if they only went into pubs and maybe not arena, could be a fun way. Like, if you want to verse the zombies, you can verse them, but if you don't, you don't. The only problem about when we have these events like Halloween is when you're forced to play on a map with the zombies and you just don't want to, it kind of means the game is just unplayable for you for a few weeks or however long it usually lasts. But they have timed it in between tournaments. It looks like there won't be any FNCS or major tournaments on during Halloween, so that's good as well. The cube is going to return, plus as a skin. I don't know how the cube's going to be a skin. I mean, hey, running around as Kevin could be kind of cool. We've had some pretty weird skins in Fortnite, but the cube returning, I mean, we get some crazy map changes. We got a desert biome. We've now got, Naruto village. We've got mythic kunais, and then we have Kevin the cube. Like, I'm getting excited. This could be a season that actually has some gameplay changes. Flying animals that drop loot when shot. Again, this is in Apex Legends. On one of the maps there is kind of like dinosaur dragon things that fly around and they carry loot crates. You eliminate them and it drops the loot. Very cool concept. I really, really like that idea. It makes getting the loot a bit more fun. Maybe this could kind of be at some of these POIs, like maybe like a Naruto Ninja Village or like kind of a Mythic POI. I think one of the main reasons why I liked Mythics so much and I found it so fun was because it was like the POIs were more fun. Think of all the most fun POIs in Fortnite's history. I'm thinking, again, on top of ones like Grotto, I'm thinking like Stark. I'm thinking, sorry, not Grotto, I'm thinking like Gotham. Gotham wasn't really a Mythic POI, but it was really fun. But all my other favorite ones were all Mythic POIs. You had Grotto, you had Shark, you had Yacht, you had Fortilla, you had Stark Industries, like just so much fun to fight at. So if we get some Mythics back and they maybe have some of these like NPCs flying around that fight you, because like the wolves and the pigs and all that kind of stuff around the map, they didn't feel like they did anything. You killed them and you got a bit of meat and then you got some bones to make a primal gun you never made. But imagine you actually got loot worth getting. And I'm not talking marauders because those were kind of annoying, running around with RPGs and hunting rifles, but at the same time, having, packs of things roaming around the map that dropped loot sometimes was a saving grace if you got contested off spawn or you had to run away. Yes, they were annoying for third partying, but they did add a fun element to the game, and especially in more dead lobbies when nothing's really happening, just having something to fight could also be pretty exciting as well. So that's the list of leaks we have confirmed from Hypex and Sheena, and that alone has me pretty excited. The next few days or the next week or so, I'm going to be making a bunch of content like this. I'll make a specific video with my wish list, but I'm getting hyped. All right, now let's look at some of these major team swaps, specifically focusing around EU, because there's some really big ones. I'm going to touch on all the really big names. So, straight off the bat, Benji Fishy. Didn't have a really good FNCS. What are their plans? Well, Benji Fishy, being Benji Fishy, probably one of the most beloved pros in the scene, they're not splitting. Benji tweeted out, by the way, for anyone wondering, going to be sticking with Joe and Shadow. This grand wasn't a good representation of how good we actually are. Confident for next season, and then thumbs up. And I love that from Benji. I mean, they didn't have a great season, but like I said, couldn't really see anything fundamentally wrong. It wasn't like they were playing poorly, their comms were off, their chemistry was bad. It just, they didn't have a great drop spot. They didn't really have a great game plan going into it. And when they did have a good drop spot in week 1, they absolutely popped off. So I fully respect this. It seems like the community agreed. Everyone really likes watching Benji play with Joe and Shadow when he streams. So happy days to see them playing together. Now we have Mongrel. Mongrel tweeted out, still open for trios. I'm telling you, I'll be the best player this season. So looks like Mongrel is looking for an entirely new team. We also had the kind of impression farm out there from Mongrel himself that looks like Mongrel might be going to NA. I don't really believe this one too much. I don't think most people paying attention did, but hey, Day reached out to Mongrel, Day Miro Mongrel. I mean, we've also talked about Day Miro Clicks. Clearly, Day and Miro are looking for someone though, which is 100% confirmed. Reverse will be looking for another trio. I talked about that yesterday, but hey, I mean, Mongrel went to NA and played with Day and Miro. I wouldn't be complaining, but I really don't think it's going to happen. I think he's very comfortable staying in EU. He's played there. He lives there. There's almost no reason to go to NA. The prize pool is worse. Just doesn't make a lot of sense, but hey, Mongrel is looking for a trio though, guaranteed. Leshy, looking for people to try with. I'm off school, can play every event and can play daily. Couldn't perform the last seasons how I wanted to, but I'm ready to give it all. DM me if you want to try with me. So Leshy again hasn't given up. He's had a few rough FNCSs in a row. I really hope Leshy can find a team and bring it back, because again, we all know how insane Leshy can be. Like he said, the seasons haven't gone his way, but I'd love to see him find a team and make it work. Savid, the people's champ, just got really unlucky the most recent FNCS. He is now trying out with an entirely new team. He is not going to be playing with Astro anymore. It looks like it will be Savid. He said looking for one for the next season with Crizzy, made grands together and both motivated to do really well this season. So Savid's got an entirely new team. We had Savage tweet out. Now this one's interesting. Savage obviously had a rough FNCS, but it was a lot because of drop spot. They were 5th going into day 2 while being contested. So I think they're going to stick together. None of them on the team have said anything, but Savage tweeted out, the thing that makes me most mad is that Andretta and Refsguard are 2 of the hardest working players in the world, and this keeps happening to them. And based on messages like that, it seems like there's no, frustration toward his teammates. I don't think Savage blames them or thinks that anything they did was wrong. I think he thinks similarly like a lot of people, they just did the best they can with what they had. They were contested and things didn't go their way. So I'm pretty sure they're still going to be playing together. Again, right now, Savage and Andretta both posted a photo hanging out with Post Malone together. So clearly still hanging out in person. Can't see any crazy personality issues like we saw between Bucky and Creo after this most recent FNCS. So I think all good there. Now, Chapix, Hen, and Janice. This is a weird one. So all 3 of them were very unhappy with their 7th place. They all made different tweets. Chapik said, disappointed. It's like we forgot how to play Fortnite every game, full chilling, and we just throw and throw and throw and throw. And then you had Janice tweeting out a sad face. Hen talking about how he didn't grind this season, but he's going to work on his gameplay. So I don't really know what that means. People in my chat today were saying they split up, but I can't seem to find anything that says they have split up. It just looks like they were unhappy with their performance. But if Hen's stepping up and saying he wasn't playing his best, Chapik doesn't seem to be blaming anyone else except for himself as well. He's saying we should all take responsibility. So maybe they're still playing together. Aqua, this is a weird one too. So Aqua, Noah Riley, and Vidil. Now, Noah Riley during the tournament was actually, it looks like calling out Vidil, like mid-tournament tweeting about Vidil, saying they weren't playing well. Vidil was making mistakes, but Aqua at the end of this has tweeted out, at the end of the day, it was my first finals after 4 seasons, plus I changed binds this season, so 8th is not too bad. Big thank you to Vidil and Noah Riley for always believing in me. Best teammates anyone could wish for. So don't really know if that means the team's splitting up. Aqua seems happy with them, but Noah Riley and Vidil were clashing, but Noah Riley, Vidil, and Rezon have always had that relationship where they kind of argue, they clash, but they still play well, they split, they get back together, so maybe that's just who they are as people, so not really sure what's going on with that team as well. I already talked about how Tayson looks like he is going to be dropping Vino, and he's just going to be finding one more with Rezon, but other than that, I hope that covered most of the EU team swaps. I could have potentially missed 1 or 2. I've tried to really stay on top of it. Oh, Freemock as well, sorry. Freemock tweeted out, I don't know what is trios going on, but probably looking for trios. So those are the main ones that I knew you guys would care about. Again, I'm going to keep these videos going with some updates on the new teams as they develop, but I think a lot of things are going to change, so I'm not putting too much stock in who they're playing with. I'm just more counting out who is actually split, because most teams after they split won't get back together if they split this early. The one other team as well, not EU based, is Muzz. A lot of you guys mentioning and asking about what's going on with Muzz, because Muzz tweeted out looking for trio as solo, which would be a big deal because Muzz just got flown to NA East under TNA with Speedy and Luda, his OCE trio, so to split up from them and play by himself would be pretty crazy. I have reached out to Muzz personally. He said it was a joke. He said it was an impression farm, but a lot of people thought it was pretty valid. Muzz has been grinding incredibly hard, doing really well in solos, really making a name for himself in NA, and it just kind of feels like Speedy and Luda weren't. I think Speedy, being an older IGL, was never going to go over and, you know, be super flashy and get a whole bunch of attention on himself. I think Luda has talked openly about being demotivated, just not really enjoying the game as much anymore, not grinding as hard, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Muzz maybe split up with them because they didn't even make grand finals, but they do have one more FNCS in the States, and if Muzz believes that Luda and Speedy can do it, hey, they've got the experience, they know what they're in for, they know they're not going to get given a drop spot, maybe they have to fight a little bit harder for one, and this next FNCS they can bring it back. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on anything I talked about today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.